Hello everybody, long time no see. War Thunder's latest update has dropped, bringing in the Su-30SM. But is this the Russian king we hoped for, or did it miss the mark? Well, for those returning and wondering where I've been, I'll cover that at the end of the video. But first, let's dive right into this aircraft. Here we are with this monster. I wanted to give it some time so I could get a true feel for the aircraft. We're going to be breaking this aircraft into 3 sections: the good, the bad, and the fucking amazing. So here we go. Starting with the bad, the Su-30SM is a rather heavy aircraft. It suffers with it lacking the upgraded engines that the Su-27SM has. This means you are really lacking in the overall speed department. This isn't to say the aircraft cannot get up to speeds. At around 25,000 feet, you are able to cruise at around Mach 1.4 with ease. But those worse engines really start to harm it when you start maneuvering and need to regain your speed. This also harms it when you're using the thrust vectoring, as it really can't keep itself up and is really dangerous to use at low altitude, so use it carefully. To be honest, this is my biggest problem with the aircraft. Its engine performance being lackluster compared to what I'm used to really hampers a lot of potential, in my opinion. Now, on top of this lackluster engine power, you also have the issue of the aircraft being much heavier. Especially with a full missile kit, you really feel it. The R-77-1s are slightly heavier than the regular R-77s, so running a full kit, you may struggle to simply keep the aircraft up at times, especially if you like to hug feedback. Finally, this last one is more of a personal issue. However, I have heard others complain, so I figured I'd mention it. Countermeasures. I will note that your countermeasures are all large caliber, which is very good, but you don't get a lot of them. So if you're not watching your countermeasures count, you may run out before you even get to the furball. So ensure you're always keeping an eye on that, because I've had a couple matches where I was spamming chaff to survive, and by the time I got to the battle, I realized, oh shit, I only have 10 flares left and no chaff. So it can be detrimental at times, but it also is large caliber, so they are very effective at what they do. So it's kind of a personal issue, so I figured I'd just throw that in there. Now let's get into the great info about this jet. First, this aircraft has a fuckload of hardpoints. The fact you can carry this many missiles is absolutely nuts. This isn't even including ground Hornets for my ground players. You will have a blast securing the air and maintaining CAS at the same time with this aircraft. No problems there whatsoever, in my opinion. Second, this aircraft's radar is easily among the best. It uses a N011M BARS radar, which is a PESA radar that uses an X band. This is easily among the best radars in the game, at least in my opinion. I will have to note there are some minor issues, not limited to this aircraft's radar, with locking into the air, but that issue isn't only on the Su-30, so take it as you wish. If you don't know what I mean by this, it's where it just randomly locks onto the air or a lock on the missiles. That's an issue, as said, between a lot of jets, so, you know, it's not just the Su-30, but thought I'd point it out. Third, we have the R-77-1s. These R-77s are a huge upgrade over the original R-77s. For once, Russia, in my opinion, has a missile that is comparable to the A-120Bs. Now, I wouldn't say one is better than the other. However, with my own personal preference, any launches 20 kilometers and less, I would prefer to have a Dash 1. Whereas any launch beyond, I would prefer to have the A120Bs. Now, this is not to say the Dash 1 cannot perform at those longer ranges. This, once again, just comes from personal experience using the 120s and the new R-77s. I also believe later down the line, when we get a faster jet that uses R-77-1s, they will perform a lot better. As obviously the faster you're going, the faster your missile will come off the rail, and that gives it more range, of course. So now that we went over 3 bad things and 3 good things, what makes this aircraft an absolute fucking beast? Well, that depends on the pilot. If you know when to use your thrust vectoring, when to use your missiles, and how to serve your team, the sheer amount of firepower you have at your disposal is fucking nuts. My personal loadout is 10 R-77-1s, 1 ET, and 1 ER, with 2 R-73s. If you play this aircraft right, you can keep your enemies defensive for almost the entire match. Assuming we're talking about a 1v2 max, this is before I even mentioned the ground capabilities. This aircraft is essentially an Su-34 on roids. So, what is my honest review of this aircraft? This aircraft is nothing short than amazing. Even with its weight and engine issues holding it back, I still believe it has a lot of potential in a more reserved role of combat. I highly recommend you pick this aircraft up if you want something that can easily hold air superiority and perform CAS if needed. Alright, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. As said earlier from my returning viewers, here's a mini update of where I have been. I had a mix of computer issues on top of War Thunder burnout that made me not want to play the game. It has honestly been hard to make my type of review content when the matches don't last longer than 5 minutes and usually consist of spam ramming. So I have some video ideas I will be looking into. I also have a DLSS 4.0 with ray tracing video planned, so keep your eyes out for that. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure you like, sub, maybe even join the Discord. It's in the description below if you want to come and hang out with me or maybe play some games. I will see you all later. Peace out.